Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back from another OPTC video, and in today's video, we have the release of the New Year's Legends, the Super Sugos that are going to be coming for the end of the 2024 celebration. And look, we have an ASL batch. I'm not a huge fan of the selection of ASL. However, one of the Legends is actually a gear change Luffy. Now, I was kind of like shouting for this character for Anniversary. So getting him now, I'm okay with it. Do I love it? The celebration and the campaign and all that fun stuff and the route they've gone down with all these damage numbers, not really, but this particular character does seem a little bit interesting. One, because he's insane in Rumble, and two, because he has a very interesting mechanic where he can actually change between the different forms. I think this is incredible, as it gives players like a really good hit of nostalgia from Gear 2nd all the way through to Gear 5, and it does change the way you play a little bit. It is very reminiscent of the way the gear change Luffy was when Whole Cake Island first came out, when you could go into the Tank Man variation, the big fat version of Luffy. So I'm pretty keen to actually use this particular character. And in today's video, we're going to break him down, have a look at him and stuff like that. So this is his actual artwork per se, but he does have a an action artwork as well. I think it should be up somewhere. Yeah, all right, shout out to Papi, always getting the goods. So this is his action artwork. Sorry, I just wanted to turn that down a little bit. So this is his action artwork, very similar to what Luffy vs. Kaido got for the One Piece Day celebration. And I love this stuff. I think like a lot of characters should have this moving forward, especially big celebration characters like this one. So really glad that they did it here. The action artwork looks great. Really big fan of it and love the concept. Alright, so this is the ink effects. This is what he looks like. Pretty cool stuff. Let's take a look at his actual abilities now though. And let's sort of break the character down as a whole. Like I said, I do think this is probably the most interesting character of the celebration. We obviously have a Sabo from the scene at Marijois, and then we have a Whitebeard and Ace, which is a very weird selection. Like they do love doing it on New Year's. They always have, but it's so strange that they went with Whitebeard and Ace. At the end of the day, it is what it is, but that's what we have. So, Luffy has Final Tap, he has Hunger, he has Pinch Healing. Final Tap Legend with EX Super, which is very interesting as well. 55 cost as a free spirit fighter. His special ability, on a 13-turn cooldown with Limit Break expansion, by the way, deals 400 times his attack in non-type damage to all enemies, ignoring defense and defensive effects, and then will completely remove all enemies' defense up. This is a great line. Completely removing defense up is great. So, if there's anyone that has like 99% defense up, doesn't happen that often, but you can just completely remove it. On top of that, you get a fighter territory for 3 turns, getting an extra 1.5 times attack, 25% damage reduction as well for fighter characters. Territories are broken. Like, we've seen how powerful they are since the release of Verse Luffy and how he does with his free spirit one. Downside to this character, obviously, is that he's a Luffy. So that's probably the biggest drawback here. If the enemy has an increased damage taken status, or the crew's auto heal, so end of turn healing status, has 10 or more turns remaining when the special is launched, you're going to boost damage taken to the enemy by 3 times for 2 turns. After that, you apply increased damage taken, damage to increased damage taken to all enemies. If you have the increased damage taken or the auto heal, you get a 3 times conditional 2 increased damage taken. And then after that, you apply an increased damage taken of up to 3 times that can ignore immunities based on the fact if you do an excellent tap. So obviously we have action and special here once again. And what this means is basically if you hit your excellent, you're going to get a 3 times increased damage taken to the enemy. So very strong stuff. Even at a good, you are getting a 2.4, which is really strong. So basically the best way they want you to do this is that if you have 10 turns of an auto heal status, you're going to get both that up to 3 times increased damage taken and the 3 times conditional against this. It's pretty strong. Obviously with the territory, it's basically just like a buffed version of Verse Luffy. However, it's not for free spirit characters, it's for fighter characters. Now, being for free spirit is obviously infinitely better. Free spirit kind of rule the matter, but this whole batch is built up around fighter units, so we could see a bit of a resurgence with that particular team. The only problem that I do see with this is there's not a lot of characters that can give you this 10 turns of auto heal status. The character they want you to use alongside this Luffy is obviously the new Sabo, and with his Super EX, Sabo gives you that 10 turns of auto and defend heal. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys know any other character that can actually do this, because unless you already apply the increased damage taken, then Luffy's just going to be a straight up conditional booster with a territory. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really provide all that much more. And at the end of the day, this is just big numbers. And when the damage cap exists, like, it doesn't matter because the damage cap exists. Ironically. So, yeah, like, let's keep making characters that do big damage but can't see the damage numbers. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Luffy, as a captain, accelerating trails of gears, reduces character special charge by 4 turns start of the quest, attack by 5.25, HP by 1.2, and makes crews strength recovery slots and have matching slot effects. Activates the gear change ability and changes the captain ability based on the type class of the crew that became super through launching the super type, super class, and EX super. An added effect of Gear 5 is a requirement of 4 or more super effects are activated. So I believe this means that if you have 4 or more characters on the crew, then that get affected by the super type, super class, or super EX, you're then going to turn into Gear 5. That's the way I interpret it, but if you guys have any other knowledge, let me know down below. I think Shiro actually put together his infographic, so we'll switch over to that and have a look at that as well. Allows when you're in Gear 5 form though, he allows crews to obtain recovery slots through perfects, heals 25% of the damage received during the battle while moving on to the next battle, and then reduces damage taken by 25%. He also heals 5,000 HP at the end of the turn, removes paralysis by 10 turns, and further increased attack of 1.1 based on the characters with type or superclass that became super through launching the super type, superclass, or EX special up to approximately 6.987 times for characters with corresponding type and classes. So if you have all of these, like Luffy himself, you're actually getting a 1.1 times 1.1 times 1.1 on top of that extra 5.25. I believe it's 5.25. Yeah, I believe it's something like 5.25. And then going up to that 6.987. So you're going to need to be a fighter, free spirit, strength unit to get this, but or have the other super EX to sort of work in that favor as well. But the fact that you're a rainbow burst here works out quite nicely too. When you're in Gear 5 and use a special that boosts attack, chain multiplier, multiplicative, or boost chain multiplier additive, you further increase it by 0.25, which is stackable with other raising effects. So very interesting captain. But obviously the draw to the character is the fact that you are a rainbow character. So 5.25 times attack boost, HP at 1.2 times as well. And as you can see at the top of that, Shiro's put together in this infographic, the base captain multiplier actually stays the same, and then you get additional effects depending on which gear you're in. And look, essentially you just get stronger as you go further up the gears. I imagine that the previous gear has the same effect as the one before it as well. So like Gear 2 has the ability to get the recovery slots. Gear 3 increases attack by super type and super class. You reduce damage when you're bounce man by 25% and get the heal. So basically, like when you use the EX of this new Luffy, you'll automatically go straight into the Gear 4 Snake Man form. I imagine one of each type and class, because you've got the fighter, free spirit, and then strength. Super type and super classes, you're immediately just going to go straight to Snake Man, which will give you the 10 turns of paralysis and then the rest of them as well. Once you go into Gear 5, you need 4 super effects, so you just need like, 4 characters to have the super effect. And that way you just go straight into Gear 5, which is pretty interesting, but this is basically just going to see a lot of play on your burst turns rather than earlier on in the fights, because you're pretty much going to be like within this sort of Gear 2 range or Gear 1 range, depending on if you bring another character that has like an EX that can be used as a sailor, or if you use like a super type that can be used earlier on in the fight. The downside to using Luffy is you're going to want that extra super type or this super EX for the final stage, because it works perfectly in tandem with his actual special, and that's where most of the damage is going to come from. However, if you use this guy as a sailor for whatever reason, you get a 1.1 times attack boost to fighter characters, and you increase the entire crew's base attack by 70. You also get strength recovery slots matching and HP by 150 as well. So very interesting stuff. But as I mentioned, he does have a very interesting super EX special. EX obviously turns everyone into free spirits, fighters, and strength super characters. But you need to be in Gear 5 to actually get this, or any of the following characters need to be on the crew. So you actually can get this with a friend, not obviously Luffy, but like another character that has super EX or anything like that. For example, say you use Zoro Sanji and you use the Zoro Sanji special, turn everyone into free spirit slashes, and then you use the EX of Zoro Sanji. That's going to automatically give everyone 2 supers, because you've got free spirit and then you've got free spirit and slasher, both being the super classes. So if you have 3 of the following characters on the team, you've got Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Chopper, Robin, Frankie, Brook, and Jinbei. So it's literally just the Straw Hats, no shenanigans with Wano characters or anything like that, which is kind of nice to see. So it's not really Wano-centric, it's literally just Luffy-centric. His special adds 100 times his character's attack on non-type tap damage for 5 turns. This is going to work exceptionally well with, I believe it's the Ace unit. Like the Sabo with his EX works perfectly with this Luffy unit. Ironically though, Sabo and Ace aren't a part of this EX, which is super weird, man. It's super, super weird. I don't know why Sabo and Ace aren't included here when this whole celebration is built up around, like, ASL. But, hey, look, we move, I guess. You will also apply a weakening status at 1.3 times. It ignores all immunity, which is exceptionally strong, seeing as the fact that he can be a 3 times increased damage taken dealer. So then you're turning that 3 times into a 3.9 times, which is really, really powerful. On top of that, you get the Strength, Fighter, and Free Spirit superclasses, and you can do a lot of damage there. Big downside to the character, too, is he has just 12% base stats, but it goes on all characters. So just like Roger, you can just slap this guy on anyone, but it's a Luffy, so you're pretty much going to be utilizing a Luffy on the team 9 times out of 10 anyway. As for the rest of his kit, he does have Final Tap. You can use any of these characters on the team. You need 2 of them, I believe, and you need to be at the final battle. You have any of the Straw Hats, and then you have Ace, Sabo, Garp, Curly Zidane, Markino, Uta, Rayleigh, and Shanks. I don't understand why all of these characters are included here, but they're not included over here on the EX Super. If it's based around Luffy, I can understand why these characters are here, especially Ace and Sabo. Like, if you cut the rest of them out, like Garp, I mean, Zidane and Markino. Oh, who's the other? No, Garp. Garp's the rare recruit. Like, so if you included them, like, I would get it. But if, like, Shanks, Rayleigh, Markino, Uta, like, if they weren't there, I'd be absolutely fine with it. The fact that Ace and Sabo aren't here, it just hurts the character so much. Boost character's base attack by 2,500 for 1 turn, stacks with any other special, and then increased damage taken effects get a 0.5 buff. This is shit. It's terrible. It's a better version of Shanks, don't get me wrong, the Super Sugo Shanks. And if you don't have a character that's already increasing that conditional buff, and you have 2 of them, like, this is huge. But most of the time, like, you have, like, the Otama support, you have, like Verse Luffy, who actually just increases it by 0.25. So, like, there's also that. So, bit of a downside to his Final Tap. Definitely not one you're gonna need to max out. So that's kind of an upside to the character, being a non-need to rainbow unit for these Super Sugo celebrations. But the creme de la creme for this unit, in my opinion, is the Rumble. I love the gear change abilities, but it's quite wonky in the sense that, like, most of the time, you just want to go straight to Gear 5. At least with the gear change Luffy that came out for Whole Cake Island, you had some benefits of, like, tanking damage, wanting to deal more damage as Gear 3. You had different types of matching orbs as different forms, so it's kind of a hit or miss there. You kind of have to try and figure out a way to bring a character that can give you an EX early, so that way you can just get into that form as quickly as possible, rather than having to bring those 3 characters, because characters like Sabo and Ace, for example, they will be able to get the EXs fairly easier. I believe, because, like, Luffy's going to be there, but it's just so weird that they're not in Luffy's. He's an attacking style unit in Rumble on a 32 turns cooldown, which is very, very high, but from what I've seen in Rumble, he's basically just like an updated version of the old Strength Luffy, which is crazy. He targets Strength type Free Spirit characters class teammates for attack up level 6 for 20 seconds, and then targets 3 enemies for ignoring defense at attack times 2. This means that he targets Strength type units or Free Spirit units. They don't have to be both. It's not like it's like you have to build a Strength Free Spirit team. This is if you have any Strength character. So if, say, you're running, I don't know, Jack, for example, Jack is going to get these buffs. So really nice stuff there. And then as for his passive, we go with his Rumble ability. He targets Strength type Free Spirit characters, defense up level 6, speed up level 6, HP up level 6, and then he gives solely Strength units an extra level 3 attack, and solely Free Spirit characters an extra attack of level 3. So if you bring the Strength Free Spirit characters, you're going to get massive buffs here. Like, you're going to get an extra level 6 attack. So really, really nice. Most of the time, you probably just run him on a Strength team. You can throw him on a Free Spirit team, though. That's going to work out quite fine. But then this line here is what makes him so crazy. Revives self up to 2 times at 75% HP. Coming back twice is crazy. And the fact that he can do this, targeting 3 enemies all the time and doing 2 times his damage and ignoring defense, is ridiculously wild. He has a monstrous attack stat as well. So this guy's going to be hitting like a goddamn freight train, and he's basically going to be knocking out 3 units. Obviously, you want to try and get as many limit break abilities on him, so Final Tap's going to make him stronger. But like just having this guy limit break expanded with Cotton Candy is just going to do so much stuff. In GP, he does seem very interesting as well. After receiving damage 12 times, this doesn't mean specials, it just means take damage. So 12 attacks, and you will have his burst ready to go. His burst targets strength, side type, fighter, free spirit class teammates. So any of these types, it's not like it targets both of them, which is kind of annoying, but if you have strength units, you have psi units, fighter units, or free spirit characters, you get an attack up level 6, and then targets all enemies for defense of ignoring defense for leader base attack of 2.5, and then targets 3 psi in type enemies for 6,000 damage. This is killing so many things, like so many things. You can only use it twice, and like God forbid if you could use it more than twice, it'd be crazy. But just being able to bypass defense with this attack is nuts. So it's just funny to see that we probably have a new best Grand Party leader, and it's another Gear 5 Luffy. It's another one. So this is going to be really good against when you go up against stuff like Int Luffy, because like if you verse that Int team, like this is basically just going to kill 3 units every single time. Like I just can't see it not killing 3 units, especially if you're versing a Psi or an Int based team. His leader skill buffs strength Psi teammates attack up, HP up level 6, CT speed level 3, and then fighter and free spirit teammates get HP speed level 6, defense up level 4. So he does seem like a very interesting GP leader. Obviously fighter teams aren't there at all. Free spirit can do some fun stuff. Strengths are pretty good. Psi needs a little bit of work, but moving into like the later part of the meta, we're always going to get shifts in Rumble. It's very easy for Rumble teams to just sort of shift very quickly. But a big thing that I want to point out is this character doesn't have a super special. We've been going crazy with these super special abilities. Hell, they even gave one to Carrot Wanda as well as the new Uta, Christmas Uta. But then we have these super Sugo characters that don't have super Rumble abilities, which is so weird. It would be like the enticement to get people to summon for more copies of them, and they just decided, no, we're not going to do that at all. So let me know what you guys think of the new Monkey D. Luffy gear-changing Super Sugo New Year's 2024 unit. Overall, like, I'm excited to play with the character. I have a lot of gripes with the celebration itself. I have a lot of gripes with the campaign itself. I have a lot of gripes with the game, which we spoke about in a 2-hour-long video, which I released yesterday, if you guys want to go check that out. And this celebration is kind of just funneling into those problems that we pointed out in that video. So I'm trying to be a half glass full kind of guy here and be excited for this particular character. As the other two, I'm not even here for at all. Like they might have good kits and stuff like that, but like I'm just not here for the character selection. But this one here, this gear changing Luffy, like I said, I wanted to see this for anniversary, so I'm pretty keen to play with the unit once they release. But like I said, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Way down that bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Let's